Good morning and welcome. My name is Megan Lancaster and I will be service coordinator today. Our reflection, Be a Bridge, will be given by Kevin Geiger, a longtime member of North Chapel. I welcome all of you today, and we, the congregation, welcome most particularly those of you who may be visiting us today. If you are new to North Chapel, consider signing the guest book at the back of the sanctuary. And if you are feeling particularly brave, take a moment to stand and introduce yourself. Anybody visiting that might want to say hi? That's okay. Additionally, you can find hearing assistance devices and large print hymnals also at the back. Announcements. So we really only have one. There are a few things in your order of service. One announcement though, because there is an announcement in the order of service about the new members class after church today. That's still going on, still happening, but it is not in the parlor as the announcement says in here. It is in the library. So just that 5 foot change in location 5 foot farther down the hall. At this point, a reminder, just in case you haven't done it, please turn off or put on silent anything that might make noise during our time together. For opening words today, a poem, Building Bridges by J.C. Anders. We met on the banks of a raging river, with you on one side and me on the other. Unable to cross these deep rushing waters, we settled on wishful dreams. Each day that passed, our relationship grew, and slowly a bridge was formed. With hope as mortar and bricks of desire, the crossing was soon done, proving love will always overcome. Though our lives and beliefs may differ greatly, it is important to recall that we all have love, love that we foster within ourselves, love that can be shared with a wider world, and in sharing, community is built.
Thank you all for coming. My name is Kevin Geiger. I am your erstwhile moderator in the church meeting, so you see me sometimes there, and other times I am lucky enough to get up here and give a reflection. And I think this month's theme is very apt. So when first thinking about the subject of bridges for today's reflection, the most obvious thing that came to my mind was that I walked across the Brooklyn Bridge this spring from Manhattan to Brooklyn with my wife and daughter. The iconic, graceful arches and the massive pylons of stone are mostly what we see and think of when we think of that bridge. And I like the way the stone's faces are not polished or flat, but are roughly cut. But it is the cables that interest me. Tens of thousands of miles of wire, no bigger than a string, are wrapped into cables about the size of your pinky, and then those are twisted into larger cables that dangle down vertically and connect the bridge deck to the even larger main cables above. Those main cables drape gracefully from end to end, to me like a Christmas garland, Those are about the size of your leg up there. Those main cables have more than 5,000 wires each in them. In short, it is a hell of a bridge. And if it weren't for Emily Roebling, it probably would not have been built, but that is another story. The point I want to make is that it is a huge and mighty bridge weighing nearly 30 million pounds, and it is held up by tiny wires. But as I thought more about bridges, I started to get less practical, less physical, and more metaphysical. And when I think that way, I try to find the essence of a matter. And in this case, I think that is that bridges connect. They cross a chasm. They unite the separate. They make one of two. We are all literal bridges, a joining of our parents' DNA. But it is not just our physical presence, our lives are bridges to new people, new places, new ideas, between what was ever before this day, this year, this, and whatever's after. Our hearts, as we intertwine our rational and our irrational selves, which we all have, right? We have both sides. Bridge what we know and what we feel between the seen and the unseen. In our minds, that internal dialogue, our sense of self, that quiet part that we may come to find in this chapel, that self is a conversation, a bridge between the obvious outside and the secret inside, as we make internal judgments and adjustments that fashion our integrity, our loyalty, our kindness, our beliefs. And as I can't stay away from the miraculous physical world for long, any one of our minds, which is perhaps where that self resides, literally has more neural bridges than there are bridges on the planet. But do we ponder just to be amazed, or also to see a path? A way, a bridge toward a better way of being. Bridges are the thing between each other. We should all be bridges. How else to cross the room after too long a silence and reach out? When we clasp hands or hug, we lay in place the keystone of the arch and feel it settle into place. We feel the bridge take the weight, the arch made whole. When we admit honesty and vulnerability, and after fending it off with pride or self-deception, we bridge what we want it to be with what is. When we forgive, we join two parts that were shattered, maybe getting glue in our hair, or it really doesn't matter. The point is to mend the broken, not to worry about the pieces fitting together exactly. When we heal our bodies and our hearts, the cuts come together, and thus even a scar is a physical bridge. What sunders us are not bridges. They are the opposite. Fear brings a wall with no break to keep whatever is feared out. It is meant to not connect. Greed is a one-way hole that just keeps needing more and more to enter and never leave. Distrust, a moat covered in a scum of old grudges. Hate, a constant blaring outward that does not try to reach anyone, but just to slap them. To tell them we want no connection whatsoever. Apathy, a rock too far out in the stream to use as a stepping stone. Callousness, a blindness to the bridges that we cross every day that others have built. All of these things take time to build, and we build them with care even, but they are not bridges. And so they leave us alone. Nope, that is too passive. They make us alone, unconnected, perhaps fortified, but not strong. We must each fight against that which disconnects us from each other, from the world around us, from those who went before us and those who will come after us. Such separations would only make our lives less rich. We must struggle against that which separates us from those we disagree with, and listen very hard to see if we can hear those voices that we have never heard before. In this way, we will stay humble and honest. And in doing so, our lives will be strung together. With a wave out the car window, a nod in the grocery line, making a good grilled cheese for another, reading a book together, a kiss goodnight. With all of those things, we spin a yarn of each moment that we give to another or that they give to us. And in so doing, knit ourselves together, making a blanket to hold and that holds us. When it is dark or cold, we can rub the frayed hem of memory and recall with comfort some purposeful or random act of love or kindness from a friend or a stranger. And that memory will arrive, and it will shuttle us through that dark hour or that dark night and into the next day. Every moment of going through or into or across bridges. The noun of that moment is a thing, the bridge. The verb of that moment is to bridge. Each tiny effort to connect with another is a wire strung across the abyss. Until maybe, if we are lucky, when we lay down, we see the Brooklyn Bridge at night.
Thank you. Our closing words today I may have used before because they are very dear to me. They are used every Sunday at Fallen Church in Lexington, where I went for many years. And the minister there is still my spiritual advisor for school, and she actually learned her benediction from her mentor, another female UU minister, who in turn learned it from a female colleague. So it has this history and lineage of being passed around the female women people in the ministry. So, not to mention that I just love it. So sharing it with you perhaps again, but it fits for every occasion. In our comings and in our goings, may the light of love shine upon us, out from within us, be gracious unto us, and bring us peace. For this is the day we are given. May we rejoice and be glad in it. Be well and happy Sunday.